Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started. I hope you had a good lunch and you're ready and geared up for the workshop that we have here for you today. It's called Idea to Iteration, Design Thinking. It's a design thinking workshop based on the methodology used by the Stanford Design School. And we have some really accomplished facilitators for the workshop today here. We've got Maithili, who is an educational technologist, and she has built products and worked to establish tech companies as well as startups. She has a master's degree in educational technology from Harvard and is trained in Six Sigma as well as usability analysis. So she has really good understanding of this of design thinking, design process, and we hope to learn a lot from her today. And our second facilitator, I'll ask him to just come to the front so that we can introduce him as well, is Praneeth, and he's a senior UX specialist at MathWorks India, and an advisor to Young Current, which is the company founded by Maithili. Prior to MathWorks, he established UX teams at startups as well as large organizations. He has worked as an innovation consultant for product companies, working primarily to identify product and service opportunities for them in India. So I'd like to welcome them to GHCI 2015, and I don't want to talk too much about the workshop. I think the fun is kind of doing it and experiencing it and getting the insights on your own. So I'll let them introduce it the way they see fit and guide you through the process. So please give a warm welcome to our facilitators today.
Praneeth, thanks Shruti for introducing me. I've been a UX person for almost a decade now, or a little more than a decade. I've worked with both small companies and large companies. A few of the names over here. I worked primarily in the emerging markets, India, Bangladesh, and working as an innovation consultant for China and things like that, countries like that, to identify opportunities for the Fortune 500 to see how they can enter into markets like India and other places. Done these workshops both internally and externally with my teams, and externally like at conferences like this. So I'm really excited to see how this workshop goes. Welcome everyone, and thank you for being here, and then we'll just start with it.
The purpose of the workshop, for those of you who may not know, it's basically to get you hooked to the process, the 5-step process of design thinking. What it helps you do is become a design thinker and empower you to create meaningful products and services. This is going to be a very fast-paced workshop. There's going to be very little theory and a lot of hands-on activities. So my only request is keep up and stay on time. Yeah, we just want to make sure that we just wanted to okay, so here's how we'll do this. We want to understand what your expectations are from the workshop. Maybe you can quickly shout out what your expectations are, maybe lose a little bit of the food coma and shout now.
What do you think you'll learn from this workshop, or why are you here?
How to convert ideas to real reality.
Ideas to reality, right.
How to have these comfortable creative POCs out of the ideas that we have. So creativity is one thing, POC, quick POC is other.
What do you mean by POC? Quickly. Proof of concept. Okay, so have prototypes and build and get creativity into building that prototype. Okay, idea to reality, creativity, prototypes, whatnot. What else? So validate. Okay, validate is the right word for that. Perfect. Anything else from the back?
Keep it going. Keep the thing going.
Keep the thing going. Okay. The continual process of improvement. What else? Planning. Planning what? How to, your product feature roadmap. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Convincing others on your ideas. Great. Products that will sell. Business viability. Perfect. Who else? Product design principles, perfect. Requirements from the user, great. I think this is a really good list to. Oh wow. When to actually stop ideating and. Awesome. So when do you stop ideating? Right? Stopping to ideate and going into doing. Okay. Did we cover all that? Most of it. So this is great because this is exactly bang on. We're going to deal with all of these things and more as we go about doing the workshop. So, all right. So a few takeaways. The first one is that it's human-centered design. Hello? Yeah. It's human-centered design that we're talking about, meaning you're going to keep your user at the center of your design, which is really important because otherwise there really is no design thinking involved. Prototyping. So I'm sure you've done some kind of prototyping or the other before this, but what we want you to take away from this workshop is to be able to sort of let go of your prototype. Understand that your idea is not the king, but your user is the king or the queen. Radical collaboration. So this is something that happens across startups and in organizations. You might have to work with complete strangers or with friends. So you're going to be able to do that now in the workshop by working with a complete stranger. So if you're settled down cozily with your friends, forget that. Integrated solutions. So this is the business viability that someone had raised, right? How do we build products that have all of these values that are not just have business viability, but also have human values and technologically feasible and whatnot? So we'll cover that. Process mindfulness. So we will go over a few creative tools that you could use in your organization, in your startup. But we'll also, what we also ask you to think about while you're going through the workshop is to think about the tools that you already have in your toolbox. So you might be a Six Sigma specialist. So there might be tools that you already know or processes that you already know that you can use as part of the 5-step design thinking process. So we want you to actively think about that when you're doing this. That's the agenda. So we're going to, this is probably the only theoretical slide you'll have for the rest of the workshop. Tim Brown is the design lead at IDEO, and they're probably the forethinkers in design thinking. So this is actually a twist on IDEO's thinking and Stanford D School's thinking, so credit given to them. To me, design thinking is a mindset, just like Six Sigma is a mindset. So think about it as a mindset that you will get into as a design thinker. All right, so does everyone have a couple of sheets in front of you? A single sheet and a print sheet. Yeah, so, all right, so if you guys are starting to write on the sheet now, you're committing yourself for the workshop for the rest of the time. So just keep that in mind. Please don't leave after this. If you want to leave, now is the time. Otherwise, settle down and we'll get started. So does everyone have a single sheet? The single sheet? Who doesn't have a single sheet? Can you please keep your hands up so that we can... Okay. Okay, can you, yeah. Can you just take a... if you don't have a single sheet and if you're running low, you could just take a white paper in front of you. Just, it doesn't matter because we have the content up here. So take a white sheet in front of you. Everyone got one? I'm just assuming everyone's got one and we're just moving along, all right? So you have basically 3 minutes to design the ideal wallet. Everyone uses a wallet in their everyday life. Design the ideal wallet. Don't talk to anyone. Try not talking to anyone. Just pen it down. Just draw it, visualize it, or write it down, whatever is right for you. 3 minutes. We use wallets as well, right? As women, we have we put our change and our notes and whatnot. So yeah, yeah. So it's not a men's. It doesn't have to be necessarily a men's wallet, but a women's wallet as well. Absolutely up to you. Absolutely up to you. Sketch would be great, but if you don't want to sketch, just write it down. Otherwise, if you can give her a white paper. You guys can go and join a table. Better to have a table to draw. Guys, you have 30 seconds. All right. So usually when people are drawing or visualizing the ideal wallet, they usually have two different extreme reactions to doing this. One is you know exactly what you want to design. You know all the features that are going to go into this ideal wallet, and most probably you're designing this for yourself. You're probably putting yourself in the center. Or there is this other reaction where you're completely stuck and you don't know where to go. You're wondering, what am I supposed to do? Why? What's an ideal wallet? Who's this for? Both of these reactions are completely normal. They're completely okay. Just remember that as a design thinker, one of the foremost things that you always need is a user. So if I ask you to design an ideal wallet, a design thinker would probably say, for whom? And that's probably the best question you can ask yourself. Building a persona for the user is probably the best thing that you can give yourself when you're starting out. So what I suggest now that you do is sort of keep that paper away, because I know that is going to bias you. You're not designing an ideal wallet for yourself. We are going to give you a user so that you can design an ideal wallet for them. The reason we did this is so that you can keep your own bias away and not design a wallet for yourself, but for your user. Okay? All right, so right now you'll have to find a complete stranger in the room, someone you haven't said hi to, someone whose face you don't know. Just get up, and if you're sitting next to a friend, please get up and find someone you do not know. You don't know anyone here. Okay, perfect. So you're good. Guys, this is really important. You're going to take away a lot if you just sit with a stranger. So find your pair, find your lobster. Have you found a? Is that your friend? Everyone a stranger here? Yeah? Okay, perfect. Okay, okay, perfect. All right. Now, amongst does everyone is everyone in a pair? Does anyone need a partner? A stranger? You need a partner. Any anyone need a partner apart from you? Anyone else need a partner?
People in the back, here's your chance. If you want to participate, jump in.
Jump in. Yes, we'll get you.
And yeah,
Yeah,
there you
come in. Okay.
go find it.
All right. So everyone has a partner? Anyone without a partner? Everyone has a partner. Perfect. So now, guys, listen up. I know you're introducing yourselves and whatnot. Great, awesome. You'll have the rest of the workshop to do that. So listen up. You will have to assign who the user is going to be and who the observer is going to be. There really is no difference between the user and the observer. Just flip a coin and or do whichever method. Just pick a user among the two of you. And the other one is going to be the observer. Done? All right. Okay. So we have a user and an observer in every team. Perfect. So now you as a pair have to find another pair that is relatively a stranger pair to you. Find another pair who are strangers to you. Find another pair that is a stranger. Oh, perfect. Did you get it? Okay. If you're really social and you know everyone in the room, and you have relatively strange people next to you, that's okay. Relatively strange is still fine. Okay. Okay. So I'm assuming that there's a group of 4 people. Is there a group less than 4 people anywhere? Is there a group less than 4? Okay. I'm assuming that there's no group less than 4. Try and, I know that we have like a huge table. Try and isolate your group to one side of the table and let the other group sort of isolate themselves to the other side. If you're already doing that, then great, don't worry about it. Okay. All right. So again, this is not a theory slide. Just the reason we have the slide up there is to sort of have keep this at the back of your mind. If you want to sketch these or if you want to write these words down, go ahead and do that. But this is the 5-step design process where the workshop is designed in such a way that you are not listening to the theory, but you're understanding it from the process of it. So that is the 5-step process. For those of you who may not be able to read it, it's empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. All right. You can just write it down, guys. Doesn't have to be the phone. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. So let's go to the workshop material that you guys have in front of you, which is basically. Can I just borrow this for 1 second? This one. There is a user. Who's the user among the two of you? You. And who's the user? You. Right? So when I say interview your user, the two of you are going to interview her for 4 minutes. And at the end of 4 minutes, the two of you are going to interview her, the user, for the next 4 minutes. Okay? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you a minute's time to think about the kind of questions you want to ask your user, and you want to ask your user. And you guys can basically talk amongst the two of you to decide what questions you want to ask her. And to give you a little bit of pointers on what kind of questions to ask, I'm sure you've done some kind of interviewing at one side of the table or the other. Try to keep your questions open-ended. Do not ask leading questions like, don't you think credit cards are awesome? And don't ask them questions like, do you use your wallet? Which is a one-line answer or one-word answer, which is yes or no. It doesn't make sense for either of you. So try to get them to speak stories, tell you stories. One of the things that we do as program managers is sort of think about, in a week, what's the average number of times you take your wallet out at more? Right? Do not ask questions like that. Like I said, encourage stories. To be able to do that, what you could start your question with is, when the last time you were at more, what did you do? If you had to sort of ask them to build a story for you, how would you ask them that question? And one human tendency that we all have is to fill pauses between questions. Don't do that either. Let them take their time, even if you're running out of time, let them take their time and answer that question, if that question is important to you, all right? Take a minute now to think as a pair about what questions you want to ask your user. Your time starts now. How the users and the observers work. Let me just take an example. Is this a group? And who are the users among the two of you? Okay, so these guys are the users, these are the two pairs, all right? Everyone listening? So she is the user for that pair. These guys are designing a wallet for her, okay? And you are the user, right? And you guys as a pair are designing a wallet for her. All right, so think about the questions you want to ask her. So among the two of you, there are questions ready? So we move along. We're moving along. If you have an objection, you have to raise your hand now. I don't see any hands up, so we're moving along. All right. So guys, so you have 4 minutes per pair. All right? 4 minutes per pair. The way this is going to work, guys, can I have your attention? So the girls, can I have your attention? The way this is clear, right? Does anyone else have any questions? You can just put your hand up if you have a question, and I'll repeat the whole thing again. I'm going to say it anyway. So this is a team, right? And these guys are the users. And when the first 4 minutes start, these guys are going to ask, this pair is going to ask their user the questions. Okay? She's just observing. She's not talking when these guys are asking her the questions. In the next 4 minutes, these guys are going to ask their user the questions, and she's just observing. Perfect? Awesome. All right, so your 4 minutes starts now. So we actually have it on our iPad, so that's going well. So. Switch. Make sure you switch. Oh, you guys have, you've asked everyone. So time's up. So everyone has asked their questions and everyone has answers, right? Everyone's finished asking questions. What we're going to do now is that we're going to dig deeper. I know you asked them some basic questions maybe. Now go into the whys. If you haven't had the time to ask for stories, now is a good time. So what you'll get is another 4 minutes again with your user as a pair, the same format, but this time dig deeper, okay? And your time starts now. So, swap is done, right? Yeah, we swapped. Has everyone asked, has dug deeper? Has everyone dug deeper? Yes, yeah, okay, perfect. So we're going to go to the next part of the worksheet, which is reframe the problem. All right, so now on your own, individually, work on section 3 and fill out the needs and insights you have from your user. You have a lot of information from your user now. You need to organize that in a fashion that tells you more about how to construct a problem statement. So before we construct a problem statement, we're going to do we're going to find out or put down what the needs and the insights are from your interview. The way we're going to do that is, the way we separate that is, let's say I asked Praneeth, how do you do grocery shopping? And he tells me, I always carry cash when I do grocery shopping, you know, because I do it on Sunday morning. I might have dug deeper and asked him, why Sunday morning, right? And he might tell me that's when they get fresh stocks. It makes me feel good to buy fresh vegetables for my family. So what does that tell me? The goals and wish of this person are that he wants to carry cash, and he wants to have a better handle on things. But my insight about this user is that he cares about freshness and that he cares about the health of his family, right? So that will go into the insight section of things. It may or may not come into your problem statement, doesn't matter, but put that down as an insight for yourself. Your 4 minutes starts now, on your own, individually. Okay, so now we're going to define your point of view. The way we'll do this is that you might have a gamut of things now, right? Your user has told you about the problems they have with their cards, how they need to carry cash, or how they don't want to carry cash, or how it needs to be light, blah, blah, blah. There's so many things. What we like you to do is to pick one of those things that you want to solve for them. And that's really your point of view of what the user needs. And you have to do this as a pair with your partner. Sit down and go to section 4 and define the problem statement, right? So, so for example, the question I asked Praneeth would be, you know, why Sunday? So the way I would put that in my needs and insights is, he definitely needs a way to easily know how much cash is left in his wallet, because he's in a grocery market that's crowded and he needs to have a wallet which he can carry easily and knows how much cash is left. And my insight is that he shops in crowded marketplaces, right? Because on Sunday morning he goes grocery shopping, that's when it's crowded. So that's my insight from that. So put that down as a definition in your section 4 of your, work with your partner on this, put it down as, in your section 4 of your worksheet. And you have 3 minutes to do that.
Writing your problem statements, you've seen that you have a lot of needs and a lot of insights, but we are restricting you to write one problem statement, right? It's a way of writing down different features. So your product could have like multiple features, and each of this feature could have like one point of view. Now, the next part of the workshop is the most interesting one, because that's where you'll do a lot of ideation. That's the most fun part and my favorite part too. So in ideation, we always say first go diverge and then converge. The idea is to create as many choices as possible so that you don't really limit yourself to a particular idea, but get all the possible ideas that you think you can do, and then finally converge into one particular idea that you want to actually build or prototype and kind of a thing. So the next part is the ideate part. We'll ask you to come up with a lot of ideas, and we know that you will go back to your organizations and kind of do this kind of workshops with your teams, with your project teams, or with your teams in company and all. So I also want to give you some of these tips that I use with my teams. Is when you're brainstorming, I always have a time limit in terms of how much time people brainstorm, and they're like super aggressive. I tell them in 10 minutes you have to come up with 50 ideas, and believe me, people come up with 65 ideas in 10 minutes. So always have that limit. So in the same way, we are going to limit you in terms of how many ideas you're going to come up with. If you're sharing a worksheet, that is okay. But if you're working on an individual worksheet, you're going to first come up with 3 ideas and then share your worksheet with your partner. Otherwise, if you're sharing a worksheet, come up with 3 ideas and let your partner do the other 2 ideas. And we are only going to give you 2 minutes for this. You have to come up with 5 ideas in 2 minutes. As a team, as a pair. They will do, no, as a pair, you do 3, let her do 2. Right? So you do 3, you do the first 3, just sketch something, come up with ideas how it will come up with. Right? For this problem statement, what are your ideas? How will it be? How will that valid be? Sorry, yeah, ladies, you'll have to hear me out. The idea is that you're sharing all 5 of your ideas with the user and seeing what sticks with them, what doesn't stick with them, because you're not finding a winner idea right now. You're going to find what the aspects of your winner idea are going to be. Maybe there's some aspects in one idea that the user likes, there's some other things that the user likes in the 3rd idea, or maybe in the 5th idea. You're going to mix all of that at a later stage. Now, you'll have, if your team will have 2 minutes to share your 5 ideas with the user, so don't talk too much. You're just giving, oh, here's this thing. If you've sketched already, that would be awesome. Your users will get what you're saying. Otherwise, keep your explanation to the minimum, say it out to the user, see what sticks with the user, what doesn't stick with the user, capture as much feedback as possible. Every team will get 2 minutes with the user. Okay? Which the other team shares and gets feedback from the user. Okay, time up. We're going to move on to the next section, which is, now that you've come up with at least 5 ideas, got some feedback, maybe your 5 ideas became 25 ideas now with the feedback. That's how you kind of like keep generating ideas and keep sharing and getting feedback. this is the time to converge. Now that we've got all this newfound knowledge about feedback and everything, what you want to do is reflect on all this information that you've captured from the user, both from the interviews and also from the feedback section. And now what you want to do is maybe even go and rephrase your problem statement that you've written down. Maybe you went down a wrong path because you made an assumption on behalf of your user, and therefore you want to make some edits over there. It's up to you in terms of how back you want to go, and also, reflect on all of this and, come up with a good solution to the problem that you're solving. So for the shortage of time, we're going to make a few edits in the workshop from now onwards. I'm going to give you 5 minutes over here to actually come up and design the ideal wallet with all the information that you've got. Remember, if you can sketch, that would be better, because somebody said pictures worth 1,000 words. So if you can type 60 words per minute, imagine how much you can sketch in a minute. You will do this as a pair with your team member. You will spend 5 minutes to come up with the ideal wallet for the user.
Paper, anyone needs extra chart paper? Or construction paper, as the Americans say it?
Of the wallet that you've designed. Yeah, so you have 8 more minutes to do this.
You're making a wallet. So the two of you are making a wallet and the two of you are making a wallet. So you build it. Yeah. But silver foil.
To actually give you some feedback on what you're doing. As scrappy as possible, but just get the idea of
यहाँ पे
1 minute.
और क्या करना है? GPS स्टार्ट करके कुछ करना है। स्टार्ट कनेक्टेड टू डिवाइस।
Can I get that bed?
अच्छा गो ग्रीन चिपके लिए
30 seconds.
स्केच बनाना so something would start from here like this and it will get stuck in this
Two, one. Okay. Wherever you are with your prototype, stop. That's okay. That's okay. You can explain what you haven't done to them.
It doesn't look anything like we want.
That's okay. Switch and your pace. Everybody, we are done with the workshop. But hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies.
Okay, what just happened? What did you do in all this different things, different times? You talked to the user, you went back to the drawing board. What happened? What were you trying to do in the last, especially in the last 10 minutes or so? After you built your prototype, what were you doing? You know, there's not, actually let me correct myself. There's nothing wrong in trying to sell your prototype. If you manage your customer to actually buy it, you've done a great job, but believe me, your users are not going to buy it, right? Which tells you something about you should throw away your prototype and start the actual production. But the key important thing is to get that feedback and incorporate it back into your actual product development. And to wrap up things, Maithili is back.
So, guys, so as you can see, we went through this process quite a bit, right? Like we started with empathize and define, but once we started to ideate, we kept going back to the drawing board. We asked our user, do you like this? Do you like this? Oh, you don't like this. Oh, then I'm going to go back to my drawing board. So this is the part that you're talking, this is the core of all of it. It is going from your idea to iterating it over and over again until you find the problem statement until you find the answer for that one problem statement that you picked. And that might just be the one feature in your product. There might be several different features in your product, right? So you have to follow the same process for everything. So that is what we call idea to iteration. And as you can see, there is a method to the madness, right? So we really want to do a very quick sort of reflection on this. Is there a very satisfied user here? Satisfied user with a wallet that was built especially for it. I see a lot of hands going up.
We'll go to the back first.
Yeah, we'll go to the back. Can you please come up?
With your prototype.
With your prototype. Actually, let me just come to you. That's easier. Guys, we have a satisfied user here who likes a prototype. That's awesome. Okay, you want to talk about your prototype?
Yeah. So they made a beige color wallet for me because I wanted to use it with every dress possible. And then they made rounded edge because I always complained that it tore my bag or something. And then they had 6 card holders for me and a coin holder, very beautifully designed, which was my requirement. And then my requirement was my 1,000 rupee note should fit in. So they had designed a big partition for me for.
Awesome. That's, oh, yeah, big round of applause for that. Is there a design thinker or someone who prototyped and is really proud of their prototype?
Yeah, this is a wallet which I designed, and her requirement was in white color with some other shade in it, so red
I chose a red. And other requirement what she asked is a zip with a coin and a cards, and it should be organized. So we did a partition here. Since we don't have anything to strap here, so I used a rubber band. Yeah.
Nice. See, so when you're in a startup or you're in an organization, you will not get scissors, you will not get gum. You'll have to make do with what you have. So that's what prototyping teaches you. Can I see a show of all the prototypes up in the air, just for 1 second? And can we get a quick shot of that? Awesome. Oh, that's beautiful. That is awesome, you guys. Okay, so what were? Do we have time? Do we have time? Okay, so all right. So very quickly, what were some of the surprises that you guys had? Anyone? Surprises. Surprise.
For example, I designed something keeping I thought it's a unique idea, and then when I started asking this team, they had that was not at all their requirement that's there. But I still think that, you know, what my idea is still great, what I came up with, because a lot of people did not. I think if I talk about it and tell it, and then it will be like, oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Share your prototype with a lot more users, get a lot more feedback, and then validate your hypothesis about it. And yeah, any other surprises? One last surprise. Maybe you could look at your initial design that you did 90 minutes ago and look at what you finally come up with.
The one which I never thought of, and this girl, I don't know her name, but she came up with having a display screen on the purse, and she said that we will have all the she said that she wants the bill information and all. So she just immediately said that, okay, we'll have a display screen which will have all the information feed in, and you can track your purse, and immediately she came up with that. So maybe it was a subconscious mind which immediately came into picture, and we had all this tracking system and all the information in one just single purse. Correct. I'll come back.
Feedback gets you a lot more ideas. That's why I said getting feedback actually multiplies your ideas from 5 to 25. Because that's the place where you get all these insights about what can I do.
We have one here.
She wanted a virtual wallet rather than a physical wallet. So the e-wallet was a surprise for us. So we were expecting yeah, holographic image of the screen that she'll see from her wallet. So that was our design. The idea was she did not want to carry physical cash at all. So she wanted a wallet which she wants to wear, either a watch or a earring or a ring, and that should be embedded in it. So that was the surprise. That was the biggest surprise we could ever expect for. She was pleasantly surprised with our design also.
Okay, so I think on very similar lines, what you guys did, we also were working on a similar idea. So our wallet is like a, what is it, Bond wallet with the logo also up. And the beautiful features around it are like, we're looking at a cashless wallet, a virtual one, where you could just do swish and the cash comes out. If you have to give to an auto wallet, you can still give, and you still have like your credit cards, everything virtual, working on like point of sale systems. And another good feature would be like we keep on changing our covers and keep matching them with our dresses, outfits, and all. So it could be like a cover which could just have your any color or your picture showing up or anything that you could do. Okay. So yeah, that's how we really enjoyed the session. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, was there an aha moment for you at any point in time during when you were, was there an aha moment where you said, oh, this is actually coming together for me? Just raise your hand. It's good enough. Okay, we have a few raised hands. That means that's good enough for us.
No, I think we should really wrap up. You guys should go to the other sessions. We're almost out of time. So in case you're interested in getting in touch with us, I'm going to pull up. There's some you can give us feedback over here about this session. I'm going to pull up this slide with our Twitter handles. There are some cards up front. You can pick them up, get in touch with me or Maithili. We can get you the slides, or in case you're planning to do some activity at your organization, we can help you. How do you plan it and do that? So
just before everyone starts moving, I just want to thank our facilitators. So just hang on in your seats, and let's just thank Maithili and Praneeth for a wonderful session. Very insightful, a lot of good learning. And we'd like to present them with some a token of our appreciation, some small mementos from GHCI 2015. This was wonderful.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you so much for helping us.
It was lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.